Someone who can put down a dragon is more than enough for me.
You wouldn't understand, Housecarl. You ain't a Nord.
I've been all across Tamriel. I've seen plenty of things just as outlandish as this. I'd advise you all to trust in the strength of your sword arm over tales and legends.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is IRYENI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 237 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with Gamersups, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods. And starting us off, we have a little patch for Skyrim called Reconciliation, the Rebirth mod. Now the mod page reads that this is a compilation of bug fixes, mesh fixes, quest fixes, and common sense quality of life improvements from various authors. You could place this very high in your load order, and it requires the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, and this features over 125 mods jam-packed into 141 megabyte mod here, and this pretty much fixed my Skyrim entirely. You know, whenever we, upgraded from the Skyrim Special Edition to Anniversary Edition, there was a ton of problems. I even made, an RTD Talks video where I kind of talked about, how I feel like Anniversary Edition kind of broke Skyrim a lot. It wasn't really needed as an update, but all these problems that we've been having, I've noticed have been fixed after downloading this mod. I completely wiped out my entire load order, I cleared the reserve space, reinstalled everything, and then I installed this mod on top, and I have yet to have any problems. Skyrim is pretty much exactly how it was in the Skyrim Special Edition, and now we're playing an Anniversary Edition with pretty much no problems at all, and it's actually very enjoyable. I'm going to try to list off as many of these as I can, but like I said, there's 125 mods jam-packed into this one bug fixing mod here. So I'm just going to read them off pretty fast. I'm not going to read them all either, just so you guys get a basic guideline of what's all included with this mod. We have a Good Death, the Old Orcs of various opponents. The Lovely Letter alternate route mods also included in here. Civil War mods are also included. Angie's Camp tweaks, Arnel's quest speed up, assorted tiny tweaks, as well as the better description mod, Blackreach tentacle fixes, blended shorelines, the Blue Palace room mesh fix, books, the bounty previews, Butterflies Land True, chaos damages, Chill in Depths crash to desktop fix, and all of these are quality of life improvements that maybe fix tiny issues or big issues or crashes going into certain areas. A lot of the problems that we had in our previous load order videos where you'd occasionally get a crash going into Dragon's Reach, or maybe the College of Winterhold wouldn't work properly, everything is completely fixed with this mod here, and I pretty much am going to have this installed from now on, really. The next load orders that we create, I'm going to try to have this one installed unless I find some problems with it, but in all the testing that I've done with this big patch here, I have no complaints at all. It's fixed pretty much all of my problems whenever it comes to moving from Special Edition to Anniversary Edition, but even if you just want a general fix to Skyrim, this is a perfect mod to try out, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 5 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Reconciliation Rebirth mod. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a mod that I think would be very useful for role-playing, and this is the Emotes Various Player Actions mod. And the mod page reads that Emotes, or Various Player Actions as titled elsewhere, is a lightweight plugin that allows for the player character to perform a large variety of animations regularly reserved for NPCs at specific sandbox markers. Upon the first load with the plugin enabled, you receive a lesser power called Emote, and using this will present you with a menu of full categories, of which contain a variety of different actions you may perform. Now, very few of these animations were actually intended for the player to perform, so a lot of them have a habit of sticking. But a lot of these animations will end if you move, but if you find yourself stuck in an animation, simply just cast the emote power again and select the stop option to clear your current state. Now, there's so many different types of emotes and actions that you can do now, all within this one very small spell mod, and I really like this because the ones that we've done in the past make it so, you download emotes and they're all their own separate spell, and you have to select from a giant list of spells and cast which emote you want to do, but this makes it so it's a power that you just simply press RB, and then you just bring up this huge menu of a bunch of emotes that you can do. I really like the way that this is set up here, and it makes it so you can select them very quick and you're not just constantly going through menu after menu. I really like how it's set up, and it's very good for role-playing as well, because you can go into the inn and have a drink, as well as then dance with your followers, or maybe play the lute for everyone in the tavern, and then you can head on over to the bed and actually just sit down on the bed. You don't actually have to lay down in it. You can sit down on ledges, you can perform at any different location that you find yourself in Skyrim, and you can also do other things such as lean on ledges like you see NPCs do. You can bang on doors, you can read books. There's so many different actions that you can do, and as you can see as I'm just walking around annoying everyone in Solitude with these new emotes here, I'm just giving you a little showcase of what you can do, but the possibilities of the scenes that you could create with a mod like this are endless. So if you're looking for a mod that'll bring so much more life to Skyrim and make you not feel so much like a robot, then the Emotes Various Player Actions mod is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's why it's featured here at a number 4 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a mod that I covered a while ago in the past, but has now received a big update and is now transformed into its own mod pack. This is the Get Immersive Cheats Expanded Edition. And the mod page reads that this mod adds cheats to the world objects to make Skyrim more convenient and fun without feeling like you're cheating. And this brings immersive cheats to the game, which an immersive cheat is something changed or added to the game, which makes it easier to play, but in a way that really makes sense. Now, this mod is called GET because GET stands for Game Environment Tweaks, and this Immersive Cheats Extended Edition adds hundreds of immersive cheats throughout Skyrim, like being able to break mammoth skulls to get tusks. You can now use archery targets and combat dummies to increase your combat skills. You can also take wood from wood piles without it being considered stealing, and find alchemy ingredients in there as well. There's also a chance to dig up leveled soul gems when you mine for ore too. The Sleeping Giant Inn is now no longer the only inn that has an alchemy table. Now you can make potions at any inn. And you can also enchant weapons at any pawnbroker or Fletcher, because all of these now have arcane enchanters. Smithing is now more convenient as well. You'll find smelters in Solitude, Riften, Riverwood, and the Skyforge, and an armor workbench is also added to Skyforge and Dawnstar. There's also smithing chests to store your stuff outside of the blacksmith shops in 9 different locations. And to unlock these chests, you must become the Thane and use your house key. I really like this because it stores all of your smithing items right next to the smithing station, so that once you become the Thane of the city, you can go and unlock this chest, and then store all of your smithing items there, so that whenever you come back to smith items next time, all of your smithing items will be safe right next to your smelter. So like I said, with this being a mod pack, it combines all of the different Get mods together. This is the Get Immersive Cheats, the original version, as well as the Get Smithing Supply Chests, the Player Home Keys, the More Smelters mod, the More Forges, Grinding Wheels, and Armor Workbenches mod, and then finally the Soul Gem Mining and Crafting mod. So altogether we have 6 mods jam-packed into one expanded edition mod pack that just makes all of the quality of life improvements that you could possibly imagine for Skyrim, and I really like everything that this mod brings to the table, especially the fact that if you get a torch and you go into the Candlehearth Hall, you can actually use your torch above the candle that never burns out, and you can create the Eternal Flame Torch, which is basically a torch that'll never burn out and you can always keep on your person if you're going into caves, especially if you have the ELFX Hardcore mod where the caves are all darkened. It is a godsend to have this mod enabled. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here at a number 3 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Get Immersive Cheats Expanded Edition and giving some of these new additions a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have a brand new static mesh improvement mod that's pretty light on memory space and transforms pretty much everything in Skyrim. This is the Skyrim of Tamriel Smim'd mod, and it covers pretty much everything. Like I said in Skyrim, it's a full static mesh improvement mod, and it also covers the thrones of Skyrim, the upper furniture retextures. You also have the Reichling barrel static mesh improvement, the Whiterun bench retexture, furnitures, chests, small ruins, large ruins, furniture improvements, carriage seat retextures, 3D stockades, Whiterun stockades have been retextured, regular ingredients have been retextured, noble furniture has been improved, and as well as Soul Slime also has static mesh improvements as well. It's very hard to explain everything that a static mesh improvement mod covers, because when it comes to static meshes, there's hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of meshes in Skyrim. So being able to name every single mesh that this mod changes would be absolutely impossible. But as you can see, as I'm just looking around and going through Solitude and the different, cities, and, we're going into some inns and taverns and looking at some furniture and just different types of clutter objects that you may see around Skyrim. They've been completely remastered, and although yes, in the past we've been using other SMIM mods such as Divine SMIM we used in the past, the just original SMIM mod that was over 900 megabytes we used at one point, but this comes in at 353 megabytes, which is pretty perfect whenever it comes to a static mesh improvement mod, because we only get 5 gigabytes of memory space in a load order, so focusing almost an entire gigabyte on just, meshes of just objects that are really small on tables really just wastes a gigabyte of space in my opinion. But just leaving them outright blank and not adding anything makes it so they really stand out if you have, a graphics run and, you completely change how Skyrim looks, and then you walk into a building and the regular clutter's, just the vanilla texture. So this is a very good middle ground to have, because, we're putting 353 megabytes of space into, the clutter objects to make them nice and remastered, but it's not going way above and beyond with 900 megabytes of space or more. So this is that perfect middle ground mod. If you want to have a static mesh improvement mod, but you don't have a lot of space, then the Skyrim of Tamriel Smim'd is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's why it's featured here at our number 2 spot. So I'd strongly recommend downloading it and remastering all of Skyrim's clutter objects. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have a mod that's going to completely transform how you play as a mage, and this is the Obscure Scholarship, the Obscure College Bundle mod. Now in the past I actually covered a mod that was very similar to this, and it was called the Mystical Scholarship, and it added pretty much everything that this mod adds, except for the overhaul that actually covers the College of Winterhold is actually a lot different. The mod a couple weeks back, it actually covered the Magical College of Winterhold, but this mod focuses on the Obscure College of Winterhold, which is a brand new remaster to the college that I'm showing you right now. And not only does this mod pack contain the full Obscure College of Winterhold mod here, but it also contains tons of different mods that are just going to improve how you play as a mage, such as Addons that adds flying books to the Arcanaeum, a mod for role players and book lovers that allows you to pursue the collection in the Arcanaeum. I actually really like this. So the new Arcanaeum that comes with the Obscure College of Winterhold, if you head up to one of the bookcases that's in the Arcanaeum, you can press A on it to activate it, and you can then select from any book that's pretty much in Skyrim, I believe. You can search A to Z, you can have it pick a random book out for you, or you can have it pick a training book so that you can study and get some skills. There's so much to do in the Arcanaeum now, and it actually has use, and I really like that. There's also other improvements and additional dialogue fixes for the college quests. It also restores cut content from the quest staff of Magnus, and there's also a new player home near Winterhold that's available once you become the Archmage. You can buy the home, and in its laboratory you'll find the Orb of Karnik, and this ancient artifact can convert certain rare ingredients to permanent stat improvements. Other things like the Archmage robes are now disenchantable as a thing now. It adds a bunch of NPCs to the college, and they all have things to do and will wander around and use idols and furniture, which I really like. The old College of Winterhold bundle mods really failed on this, where it completely transformed how the school actually looked, but it didn't add any NPCs at all, so it was pretty much like no one lived or studied there. But this mod actually changes it so there's tons of NPCs wandering around and doing things, so it actually feels like a very popular and well-visited place. There's also been changes to the Dragon Priest masks. You now have the crown of Archmage and different types of robes that you can now wear. This also adds Thalmor attacks as you progress through the college storyline, which I think is really cool, and equipable spell tomes, which are books and tomes that can be worn on your character's belt in order to increase the power of their spells. And then finally, one of the most useful things inside of this mod whenever it comes to getting this mod working in a large load order, it adds a button just before the bridge in Winterhold that leads to the college that when pressed it summons Feralda, who will then take her place at the start of the bridge, making it so you don't have to search for Feralda anymore. You can just press the button and start the college quest outright, and I think that's very, very useful. Finally, the last addition of this mod is you can now mine using magic, using new spells like electromining and liquefaction to turn raw materials into purified ingots. So like I said, if you've been keeping up with this series for a while, you'll realize that this mod pack is very, very similar to the Mystical College, except for instead of the Magical College of Winterhold, we have the Obscure College of Winterhold, which I actually like a lot more. I think it looks a lot more realistic, but the Magical College of Winterhold gives it more of a fantasy feel, so it's all on your take on how you want to play Skyrim. So if you're looking for a mod that completely transforms the College of Winterhold and becoming a mage as a whole, then the Obscure Scholarship, the Obscure College Bundle, is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's why it's featured here at our #1 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.